Professor Robert Lawrence from the Kennedy School of Government of the Harvard University, you are one of the co-authors of the Global Enabling Trade report the World Economic Forum is launching today. Tell me, why is it important for countries to enable trade?
Well, there's overwhelming evidence that trade brings countries many benefits, particularly for developing countries. You see that the countries that have been most successful in developing have also been those who have been able to integrate into the world economy. The most recent and great example of that, of course, is China, where we see how by opening up their economy and trading, they've been able to grow and develop. There are many reasons for this. Trade allows you to specialize along the lines of comparative advantage. Trade allows you more choice, more variety as a country. You can get good at a few things and exchange them for things that other countries are better than. There's just a host of evidence. It's not to say that you don't need some policies to deal with some of the downsides of trade. There is some dislocation as a result of trade, obviously. And there's a debate about how fast you should liberalize in trade. But overwhelmingly, there's evidence that it's beneficial.
So what are the main barriers to trade and how are they captured in the new report?
Well, that's what's unique about this report, because the traditional view is to focus on the barriers at the borders, the sort of formal barriers like tariffs. And that's what a lot of the trade negotiations are about. But the vision in this report is that trade depends on a lot more. It's not just the barriers at the border or the rates of the tariff, but how well your customs officials work, how quickly you can clear products through the border. You know, time, they say, is money. And so how quick you are at getting goods through is very important. And then behind the border, how good is your transportation? How good is your infrastructure? That's also captured in the index. And even broader considerations, which relate to security and the certainty of your regulatory system. All of these are very critical factors, because if you get the goods through and somebody steals them, they're not going to arrive at the required person. So we try to capture in this all of the factors that are required if a country is going to enable trade.
We're launching the report here in Geneva. How does this report relate to the current Doha trade negotiations?
Well, of course, one dimension of the Doha trade negotiations is in fact dealing with the barriers at the border. And hopefully, if we get an agreement, we'll see lower tariffs around the world. But in addition, there's some interesting parts of the round which are very innovative, which relate to trade facilitation, where countries are going to sign agreements in order to make their customs work well. And that's one component of our index. Another key feature is that in this agreement, those countries are going to be given assistance. There's going to be aid in order to enhance their capabilities. And that's another dimension of the agreement. And hopefully, our index will be useful to those countries in prioritizing where they need that assistance.